It is Dusty Thunder with another story for you. This one is, will I be the astronaut for telling my daughter to stop pushing for a relationship that's never gonna happen? I have 6 kids. Lizzie, 16 female, Haley, 14 female, Mark, 10 male, Jada, 9 female, Alan, 6 male, and Toby, 4 male. I know we have 5, but hearing somebody list off 6 sounds like a lot. Lizzie and Haley are from a previous relationship, while the rest are with my current husband. When Lizzie was born, I never felt a real connection to her the way most mothers feel with their children. I couldn't explain it, but instead of love or joy, I just felt indifference. Okay. My mother told me that she felt the same when I was born, but once I was a toddler, she felt the motherly love for me she was supposed to. I waited for that, and it never happened. My whole life, I haven't felt parental love for her the way that I have for my other kids. Don't get me wrong, I love her, but not in the deep way a mother usually loves her kids. Ex-husband and I eventually got divorced, and I met my current husband. We expanded our family, and I have never been happier than I have with this man and my kids. Lizzie and Haley have split custody with my husband, with them usually going every other week to his house. Unfortunately, Lizzie never liked my new husband. I did everything I could to get them to get along, and we even went to family therapy, but nothing worked. It's more than just a simple "you're not my dad" kind of thing. She full on hates him, which makes me so sad. She won't even be in the same room as him without me there, which makes him sad too. Lizzie has also defied us more as she's gotten older, and it's stressful. I don't have any problems with Haley, but Lizzie, I feel, is too much for our family.
Why do you think that is?
She loves her siblings, of course, but things are tense otherwise. Now for the incident that led to everything falling apart. Mark had gotten suspended from school for getting into a fight with someone else. He said it was in self-defense, and I believe him, but it's still not an excuse to risk getting suspended for it. My husband and I yelled at him for it, and Lizzie stepped in and got in my face, telling me that I shouldn't talk to her brother that way. I told her to stay out of it because how my husband and I handle parenting is none of her business, but she refused to back down. My husband began arguing with her. She told us both to go F off, and things got a bit out of hand. My husband stepped back, and I got angry at her for mouthing off at me like that. Things are a bit hazy here, but it ended with me calling her dad and telling him to come get her. I told her to pack her necessities and that she can get the rest later, but she needed to go now. She has been living full-time at her dad's for a couple of weeks now. Things have definitely cooled off, but this made me change my perspective in some ways. Lizzie has been trying to reconcile. She doesn't have her phone. We never let her have her phone at her dad's, but my ex-husband has been keeping me in the know about it all, and she says she wants to apologize and make things right. She even wrote a letter to me asking to talk. I honestly don't think I want a relationship with her anymore. It's not the end. I just gotta stop for a moment and revel in the what the f***ness of what is happening here. Like, I don't think as a parent you get to just decide that you don't want a relationship with your kid anymore. That's pretty f***ed up. I know it happens. I know it happens a lot, but that's f***ed up. After all of this, I just don't think it's worth it. I haven't responded, but my ex-husband wants us to try to reconcile and even offered to pay for family therapy. My husband agrees with me on not letting her back into my life. Okay, there's a big red flag. He's enabling this. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. We'll allow her to see her siblings, but I don't want anything to do with her, honestly. Unfortunately, though, she hasn't gotten the hint and is still pushing for us to reconcile. We've had incidents like this before where she was sent to her dad's full-time for a while so we could cool off, but I think this time it might be for good. The courts aren't involved in our custody, so there's no problem there, but I can't get her to stop and leave me alone. I am planning to let her know that I don't want a relationship with her anymore and that she should let it go. Would I be the astronaut if I did this? Yeah? Yeah. And you know what? There's this thing whenever you're a grown-ass adult that has children, if you decide you don't want a relationship with them anymore, you give up your parental rights. She'd stay with your ex. You would pay child support because even though you don't want a relationship, she's still your obligation. It's still your duty as her parent to provide for her in some way, even though you may not give a single shit, which is f***ed up. But also we have to remember here, OP's mom said she felt the same way until she was a toddler. But part of this has to be something that she carried with her. This is something that she carried with her from her mother because she experienced this, doesn't remember it, but as a baby experienced this until she was a toddler. And that had to have affected her in some way, shape, or form. I just can't imagine as a parent being like, yeah, no, I think I'm done with this one. Even if there are big fallouts, even if there are huge disagreements, even if you enter those areas where it's, hey, they need to stay with this other parent for a while so things can balance back out here. Like, we both need some time. At the end of the day, you still love your kid. The door's always open for them to come back home. You still are a parent. And no matter how much you don't want to be, sorry, honey, you're still a parent. She's still your kid. Unfortunately, whatever bullshit you brought along and gave to your daughter because your mama gave it to you, she now carries with her. And now, part of the reason that she never cared for your new husband has to be that she can feel that you don't really love her. You love this guy and the kid you made with him more, and she resents him for that. But also, he enables this fuckery. He's like, yeah, I agree. You should just be done with her. Sounds like a great influence. Sounds fantastic. Haven't even looked at chat yet because I'm just too pissed off. Pumpkin, unfortunately, it does happen a lot. My ex-husband doesn't have a relationship with our 16 and 20-year-old daughter. He has disowned them and loves them again for a week, then disowns them again. Part of me is like, how is this even possible? And then part of me is like, it's possible because their parents did it to them. Where did it start? That's what I want to know. Where does evil like this start? Where does it come from? Who's the person who has enough poison inside of them for the first time, not passed down, not infected by another human? Just where did it start? Where did the first person decide to start future generations over by just choosing to be an absolute selfish piece of shit? Where did it start? Yoko dropping the 10 said, I made a choice to not have kids for reasons I won't get into here, but if I did, I would never, ever, ever pull this cold-ass evil bizzo shit. What a horrid black hole of a human being. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the heat lamps are already on. Let's bring her up because I know how she feels about this. She was the peanut gallery for the first 2 minutes of the story saying, what the What the and then went completely silent. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about where she's at. Tater Thunder, ladies and gentlemen, once again.
You guys know me, and you know that I'm not speechless very often, but this is the first time I've heard this story. This has just left me speechless. Like, I don't even really know what my opinion is on this story. I feel really bad for this dog. I feel really bad for Lizzie. Like, it like almost makes me want to cry. And hearing people in chat say that this has happened to them, that they've had parents that treated them like this is to know that your mom never loved you and never even tried. Like, that's the part where I understand that she had feelings, which I would assume is something that happened postpartum. I don't know what I don't know anything. I just know that are feelings that can happen postpartum. But if those aren't going away and you're a full grown adult, you had a baby and you're not doing anything to help yourself bond with your child, to help yourself figure out why you're not bonding with your child. And you're like, yeah, I just decided I just don't love her. I just never will. And I know in my heart, like, how I would feel if my mom had treated me like this. Surprisingly enough, I literally had a conversation with someone earlier today about the way that their mom was raised, and how that translated to how they were raised, and how that translated to how it affected their life. But this person chose to break that cycle, and this person chose not to become a victim and use that to just say whatever about life. Like, this person chose to become a strong woman in spite of the way that she was raised, in spite of the way that her mom was raised, and that stuff that just rolls downhill and just you can't get out of. And this person actually did break that cycle.
There's so many people in chat.
If you feel this way about your child, get help, because this is not normal. This is not a normal thing to feel for your child. And all you're doing is creating hate and sadness and vileness in somebody else's heart because you can't take the time to fix your own problems. Like, that's what you're doing. You're just letting the shit roll off of you onto another human that you created. And that is one of the worst possible things I think that anyone can do in this world, is to pass on hate and indifference and to not love your kids, because when you love your kids, you're raising human beings that know what that means. And this woman did not do that. And people like this, because it's not right.
I think that if you ever find yourself feeling anything close to this, one of the important things to think about is you don't just randomly feel what you feel. You feel what you feel for some kind of reason. I'd start trying to, number one, document it. Like, write it down so that you can come back to it later. But look at it and try to figure out where this comes from. And chances are it comes from something that happened to you. And you're repeating a cycle. But I think that may give you an opportunity to, one, recognize that this is a cycle, and two, maybe, just maybe, muster up the strength to break it and to change the direction of your life. And knowing that you're fighting against some cycle, some black hole that's pulling you in, would be a really empowering thing and would be essentially a fresh start. Your comment here brings it all to a head, and that is, it is possible to break this cycle. And so many people in chat have. What a great evidence to the contrary of gravity this group of people are. Candy Thunder, chat, everybody here who has gone through something like that and broken the cycle and changed the trajectory of life and decided to have a fresh positive start. It is possible. In OP, it is possible. But right now, you have to understand, even everything you've said here at the end is I don't think it's worth it. We, meaning you and your husband, which a lot of people in chat have said, he could be hurting her. He could be doing something worse than just being an enabler for your negative bullshit here. He could be doing much worse than that. You're making choices for yourself and for him, the two of you as a couple. That's selfish. You don't get to be selfish when you're a parent, not to the detriment of your child. You have to be just selfish enough to maintain your sanity, but you're going to give 99% of everything to them. And right now you're just like, I don't think this one gets it. Why? Where does that come from? Fight it. Because if you continue down this path, you're going to end up exactly where we're assigning you today, because this is where you are. And OP, you have the pleasure, the gross circumstance of being our very first ever on a live stream, a Black Hole Award winner. You get the Black Hole, the first one that we've ever used in a stream here. And in case you haven't heard of this yet, we finally did add a level past AskOn 1, which is the worst of the worst. The Black Hole is a whole new plateau of just something that just destroys all light and happiness. And this is it. This is the Black Hole, and OP has achieved level Black Hole here. That's it. It's not just bad. It's not just evil. It's beyond all of those things. But that darkness comes from somewhere. Again, and I'd say, yeah, you're the asshole. Yeah, a really, 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 really bad one. And I hope you change, not just for Lizzie's sake, but for all of your children's sake. Because there's no way this darkness is contained to just one channel between you and Lizzie. There's no way. There's spillage, and your other kids are going to be lapping that up too. For their sake and for your sake, recognize and fight that darkness.